She's supposedly 9 months pregnant in the hospital room, dancing with a big belly.
South Park totally destroyed Meghan Markle by exposing her shocking past and throwing gasoline on those crazy surrogacy rumors. And honestly, this might be one of their wildest episodes ever.
The more she drank, the more vulgar she became at disclosing Harry's private or intimate little habits.
The show didn't hold back at all, turning Meghan's so-called royal love story into a full-on comedy disaster, complete with a chaotic birth scene that had fans laughing like crazy and critics freaking out.
It reflects on you as the mother, because fine, they're kids, they're running around. Fine, I get that, but you're putting them on social media. Comb the hair, change the diaper, change the clothes.
In classic South Park style, they went straight for Meghan's carefully polished image. They made it look like her whole fairy tale wasn't just luck or romance, but something planned out long before she met Prince Harry. From her connections to the fancy Soho House crowd, to whispers that she always had a game plan. The episode made it seem like Meghan never does anything without thinking about how it'll look or who's watching.
And there is very much something in Meghan Markle's development which I think is encapsulated by regression. Everything is a regression. She had so many opportunities. And of course, in recent weeks, that regression has involved Marcus Anderson, the Soho House guy who first introduced Harry and Meghan, being involved in everything.
Now everyone's asking how much of this is just South Park being savage and how much could actually be true. Did Meghan really plan her royal life before she met Harry? Was her rise to fame all part of a bigger plan? Let's find out.
How did Carl Larson know exactly the time, date, and exact house number to be in front of that house to capture Harry and Meghan Markle?
It all started in one of those late night scrolls you do when you can't sleep. In the parody, Prince Harry is up, yawning, bored, and decides to look up old photos of Meghan. Just a little trip down memory lane. What begins as a harmless clickfest turns into a tiny shock. A picture of Meghan on a yacht, sunsetting, hair blowing in the wind. Pretty, normal celebrity shot, except for one small thing in the background. A navy bag with a Soho House logo. That little detail is the match that lights the whole cartoon bonfire. Because this is a South Park style satire, the show doesn't treat that bag like nothing, it treats it like evidence. The cartoon turns that quiet moment into a full detective story. More pictures, more dates, more names popping up, and suddenly a pattern seems to emerge. The parody has fun with how fast our brains make a story out of a single clue. One photo becomes a timeline, one timeline becomes a theory. And once people online get a whiff of a theory, the parody shows how the internet goes full detective. Timelines, side-by-side photos, conspiracy boards, and late-night message threads. It's fast, messy, and totally human.
We have been focused so much on Prince Harry's vices, addictions, moods, whether he's coming back or going, that we have neglected Rachel Meghan Markle. Vices, addictions, and the rest.
South Park's version pokes at one idea over and over. In the world of flash photos and glossy invites, access matters. The club in the parody, Soho House, isn't just a place for people to drink overpriced cocktails. In the cartoon, it's a social machine. A place where introductions happen, where careers get a little push, and where the right person can get placed in the right room. The episode invents a kingmaker type figure, a quiet operator who knows who should be next to whom at brunch, who makes the right introductions, and who can quietly open or close doors. The satire shows that when someone helps someone else into that world, it can look like kindness, or it can look like careful planning.
Another dead giveaway is that Harry and Meghan are not holding hands because I believe that Harry's fed up of pretending. He can't fake it. He can't stand the woman. So Meghan turns around and says, hey, hug me or touch my back or whatever, because the paps are there. The paps are there.
The joke works because it reflects something we all suspect. A lot of public lives are curated. South Park loves to take that suspicion and dial it up to cartoon proportions. In the episode, the more Harry clicks, the more the story looks less like luck and more like choreography. Events, trips, and parties that once seemed random start lining up like stepping stones. Meetings in Istanbul, rooftop gatherings in Barcelona, local galas in London, all small moments that, in the parody, add up until the late-night scroll begins to feel like a puzzle someone else had already solved for him. Instead of presenting any of this as real reporting, the parody leans hard into the idea of narrative making. It shows how public stories get put together, a photo here, a name there, a friendly whisper on a gossip site, and suddenly a whole origin story is stitched up. South Park then throws its usual mix of absurd humor and blunt questions at that stitched story. Was this a flirtation with fate, or a very human, messy plan to get ahead? The show doesn't answer. It just makes the audience laugh and squirm at the same time. The parody also goes inside the house, literally. In a quiet, tense scene, the cartoon imagines Harry confronting Meghan. That scene is less about facts and more about feelings, betrayal, confusion, and the small, terrible way a private life can feel rearranged by public discovery. In the show, Meghan's cartoon version replies coolly, almost rehearsed, while Harry's disbelief grows. It's classic satire. The writers make the characters bigger than life, but the emotion, hurt, doubt, the slow collapse of a fairy tale feeling lands because it's so human. Even in the cartoon, it's painful to watch someone realize their version of a relationship might not match the one the world sees.
This is a complete embarrassing setup. They told Meghan Markle not to do it, but she doesn't listen, of course. She doesn't listen. This woman is addicted to that.
Of course, the internet in the episode explodes. Forums and social feeds spin the story into headers. Timelines, memes, reaction videos, and hot takes multiply. People argue in comment threads about whether it's sleuthing or witch hunting. Fans defend, critics pounce, and neutral viewers snack on every clip like it's popcorn. That speed and spectacle, the way a single photo can turn into a cultural moment overnight, is exactly the sort of thing South Park loves to lampoon. The cartoon doesn't try to be fair. It tries to show the chaos that follows when a rumor meets a rumor-hungry public. The parody spends time teasing out social mechanics too. It frames the club and the kingmaker figure as part of a bigger culture of networking, where introductions and dinners matter more than talent in some circles. That idea makes the satire sting because it hits a real feeling many people have, that success can be a product of who you know as much as what you can do. The cartoon goes for laughs, but those laughs are built on a real observation. Elites often move in patterns that look strategic from a distance.
But oh my God. And if this is true, her kids are at risk. And having Doria, and...
Then comes the fashion moment in the parody, a big return to a runway, an attempted re-entry into an old scene. The cartoon shows the protagonist arriving, hopeful and polished, expecting warmth and cheers. Instead, the front row is cool. The cameras drift elsewhere. That scene is a theatrical way to show how merciless reputation can be. In fashion and society, the episode suggests relevance must be earned continually. One awkward moment, a nervous laugh, a mistimed pose, can get replayed until it defines you. The parody uses that idea to explore humiliation in the public eye, and the result is painfully funny and a little sad. Throughout the episode, contradictions are a running gag. The parody points out the weird disconnect between public claims of privacy and constant public projects. It pokes fun at people who say they want to be private while launching brands, shows, or viral content. That tension, wanting quiet but acting loudly, is a familiar one. South Park's twist is to push it into the extreme, showing the character preaching humility one minute and chasing headlines the next. It's comic, but it also feels true because many real public figures live with this push and pull.
She doesn't listen. This woman is addicted to that. Harry, who just went on a podcast and said that, parents should not are exploiting children for social media. I mean, kettle, pot,
Importantly, the cartoon balances mockery with sympathy. Harry's cartoon version turns into more than a background figure. The episode treats him as someone who is hurt and confused by what he discovers. The parody doesn't make him a villain. It shows him as a person realizing his story might be a production, and that realization is heartbreaking. That emotional core gives the episode weight. Beneath the jokes about yachts and clubs, the show recognizes that public life takes real emotional tolls. Another point the parody hits is how quickly the elite network can withdraw support. In the episode, the kingmaker figure grows distant when attention turns into viral mockery. Once that private hand stops pushing, invitations dry up, and previously open doors start to close. This is satire's way of showing how conditional social power is. It's a sharp moment. Someone can rise quickly with help, and tumble just as fast when that help is withdrawn. By the time the parody wraps up, it leaves viewers with a few big questions. Not meant to be answered, but meant to sit and gnaw. Was the romance ever just fate? Was the life on stage a performance? How much of public personhood is crafted? And what happens when the curtain slips? South Park's version doesn't deliver a verdict. Instead, it holds up the mirror and nudges the audience to think, how much do we want to believe the tidy stories were sold? How fast do we decide someone's motives based on a handful of photos?
And Doria, having Doria and Marcus Anderson around, it's not a good save for the kids, I can tell you that. And this woman is a danger to herself and to others, literally, almost like Britney right now when she's driving erratically around Vegas or whatever it is that she is.
Because it's satire, the episode also has a lesson about our own behavior. It shows how eager we are to turn a thread of gossip into a headline, and how quick we are to join the pile-on. The cartoon makes you laugh at the absurdity of the internet detective squad, but it also makes you uncomfortable about how invested we get in tearing public people down. The satire doesn't absolve anyone. It simply exposes the rituals of rumor making and the way those rituals hurt real people. Even as it goes for belly laughs, the parody respects one truth. Once a narrative takes hold online, it's nearly impossible to rewind. Clips, memes, and hot takes stick. The show uses that permanence to highlight how public reputation can be reshaped in a single viral cycle. Something small can become huge, and what was once private feels open to everyone. The cartoon's final image, the internet baking the theory into cultural lore, is both funny and unsettling. We laugh because it's over the top, but we also feel the real-world aftershocks of a rumor that won't die.